You want reasons not to move to Richmond, Virginia? You're thinking about it and you're like, what is someone not telling me about this place? Because everyone's trying to sell me on how great it is all the time. My name is Liz, and I moved here from outside of the area, Portland, Oregon / Washington area. And this is a completely different, almost country in my mind when I moved here. Now, I'm from the East Coast, from Pennsylvania. But when I got to Richmond, I wish someone would have told me these things before I got here. So I'm here to help. My name is Liz. This is my channel. Welcome back. I want you to like, comment, subscribe, do all the things, ring the bell, because I release a video every Friday. And if you're thinking about Richmond, buying or selling, you're going to want to see these videos. Here are the reasons. Now, the first one that kind of surprised me a little bit was driving, especially on 95. Now, in my mind, everyone can drive. What's the big deal, Liz? It's not so much the drivers, even though we are on the list of like the worst drivers in America, happen to live in Richmond. I guess I just don't get too high or too low, so I guess I don't notice it as much. But where I do notice it is right in Richmond, where all the highways kind of come together, and especially 64, 95. If you're going on 95, if there's another way, I'd recommend another way. Why? Why is 95 the way it is? Highway 95 coming down from Washington, D.C. That stretch of highway, it's a death trap. That's what I tell people. It's a freaking death trap. Don't do it. I don't do it so much in that I'll look at a map, and even if it's longer to go the other way, because sometimes I go north to Pennsylvania to see my lovely parents. And if I have options and it's like the faster way is going 95, immediately no. I'm not doing it, because you could be driving up 95, everything is shiny, bright, it's the perfect day to take a trip to DC, and magically something happens and you sit there for 4 hours. You are driving down the road on 95 and you're like, I'm just going to go to DC, an hour and a half, no big deal. For no reason. You'll sit there for hours. You try to get off, you try to go around it, you try to use your Waze, you try to use all your maps. You're stuck. You're just stuck. Is it the drivers? Is it the highway? Is it a mystical source from above? I don't know what it is, but if you have a choice to not drive on 95, I wouldn't do it. I just, take another road. Now, the roads themselves, you're like, what? There are times when I'm driving between the different counties and stuff, and I'm like, does anyone know this road actually exists? Like, why are we still gravel road in it right now? What is happening? Potholes? Does anyone see this road? Now, I know some counties are different than other counties, and some roads are going to be different, but I did notice that the overall maintenance of the roads wasn't my favorite. Is that really that important? No, but coming from somewhere where the roads were maintained just a touch more, it was something I noticed. That, and of course, there is a touch of traffic. Compared to other places in this world, no. If you're used to like LA traffic, Portland traffic, New York City, New Jersey traffic, Richmond's got very, very little. That's a pro. I don't know how that made it into this video. That is the pro. Back to cons. You're looking for a house. You're looking for living in a neighborhood. And you hate HOAs. Well, we are the city, the area, we're full of them. We're just full of them. Why? I don't know why, but there are so many neighborhoods here where you're going to look through the details and there's going to be an HOA. And there might not even be a pool associated with it. It might not even pay for anything. Maybe it's just the sign in the front of the neighborhood and you're thinking, there's an HOA here? And sometimes the HOA just says you can't have chickens and goats. I want chickens and goats. And then you're thinking, well, who's even in charge of this HOA? You're going to run down this road trying to figure it out. And it's a warning for you. It's a warning that when you're moving here from somewhere else that maybe doesn't have anything, homeowners associations, that's what an HOA is, in case, you're living somewhere where they don't have them. But it's basically the police of your neighborhood, and they're going to tell you what color you can paint your front door and what color the shutters need to be and how long your trash can sit on the street. I know, those are your judging eyes. You just thought, no one's going to tell me that. Well, if you live in an HOA, they are. And there's going to be a president, and there's going to be rules and regulations, and they're going to have meetings, and they're going to want you to be on the board so you can have a say on what happens in your neighborhood. Of course, there's pros to having an HOA because you know what? Maybe your neighbor likes 30 chickens and you only like one rooster. I mean, I don't know. There's sometimes it's nice to have a few rules, but know that this is the land of HOAs. Another thing I didn't expect when I moved here was the bugs. Bugs? What do you mean by bugs? Remember, I have lived in places like California, Portland, Oregon, and Colorado, where there are very few bugs. The kind of bugs that live here, some of them you can't even see, but they will bite you and leave marks on you that you're thinking, what? I didn't even see this bug. How did it get me? There'll be times that I'm sitting in my car during the summer times, I'll get out of my car, and the bugs are like, what is even happening here? There's times that I'm showing houses here in the spring, summertime where before I go into this to show the house, I'll get out of my car, I'll spray my ankles. Yes, I keep my bug spray in the car with me because I just know better. Of course, there's mosquitoes. Now there's the good kind of bugs here too. They have lightning bugs. They have ladybugs too, but they have lightning bugs. Have you seen one? Fireflies, I don't know what you call them where you're from, but the ones that come out of the tree line in the summertime and they flash and they're so beautiful. Oh, those are the good bugs. But there are the mosquitoes, there are the chiggers, there are the ones that bite your ankles, the ones that in the summertime they're swarming we got bugs, people. Let's go to something that maybe you actually care about, cost of living. Richmond is not the cheapest place to live because it's actually pretty convenient to a lot of things that people like. There are jobs here that people want. It is convenient to driving to DC, to driving to the beach. It's right here on the eastern corridor and it's just convenient. So people want to live here and businesses want to run businesses here. So I want you to know that the cost of living is about 2% higher than maybe other places in the United States. So keep that in mind when you're living here. It's going to affect the prices of homes, your grocery bill, your basic utilities. If you're looking for someplace like New York City or LA or Chicago or Miami where that's full of high-rise condos, this is not the place for you. Richmond does have condos, it does have high-rises. They're starting to build more of them. But it's not one of those cities. It's still not that built out. It's still not that populated that they're going to need all the high-rise condos. Again, we do have some. They're mostly downtown. They're mostly along the river. That's where you're going to find that sort of thing. But if that's the kind of life you want to live, this might not be the place for you. Let's talk about the weather, shall we? Weather is important, and we got it all here. We've got the winter, summer, spring, and fall, which I love. I love a change in weather. Here's the things that you're not going to like. When it does snow here, it's a pretty big deal in that we don't get it very often, and so it does have a tendency to shut things down longer than you think it should. Now, if you're living outside the city limits, say you live in a neighborhood similar to mine where no one's coming to plow us out. What we have there is all of my neighbors happen to have trucks that have plows and we plow ourselves out. So I'm probably going to get out before the people that live downtown are going to get out because all my neighbors have plows. Sounds kind of counterintuitive. There's been times when I go to town, doesn't that sound cute? When I go, it's actually what it is. When I go into the city and the city's still all shut down and the roads aren't plowed and I'm like, what's going on here? Everything is good where I live. Keep that in mind. Also, I would recommend if you live outside the city, maybe even if you live in the city, that you think about a generator. You're thinking, why am I going to need a generator, Liz? If the power goes out, they'll just restore it. Will they? We get things called ice storms here, and from time to time, when it does the icy thing, it falls on all the trees, and since the trees are not necessarily strong trees, they're not northern trees, people, they're southern trees, and they don't really hold up well when it comes to any kind of weighted snow or ice, and so then they all break, and then they fall on the power lines, and then the power's out for a week. What would you do if you didn't have power for a week? Well, we didn't have power for about 4 days, and luckily we had a generator. Because if not, we would have been pretty unhappy. So consider that. It's not necessarily the best thing about the weather here. Another thing you're going to need to know is that there is humidity here. What is humidity? Humidity is that thing that makes your hair really flat, makes you sweat for no good reason, like you just got out of the shower, and you can't get cooled down. You're going to need to take multiple showers. Living here just is the way that it is. So in the summertime, when it starts to heat up, it's not like you're in Arizona. It's not like Vegas when it's 110 there. You're like, this is hot. It's 95 here and you're sweating profusely because it's sticky. It's that sticky hot. So no, that's the thing. When my husband told me we were moving to Virginia, the first thing I thought was I may die. I may die because of the humidity. Really, that's where you went. That's what was in my what was in my brain, because I grew up in Pennsylvania where there's also humidity. So I was familiar with it, but had grown used to not having humidity in the Portland area. With the bugs and the weather and the humidity comes springtime allergies throughout the year. If you have allergies, I want you to maybe do a little research on whether this is the place for you. Because of the changes of the season, it makes it so it is a place where allergies are a concern. So know that as a con to moving to Richmond, that this is one of those places where if you have allergies, they're probably going to flare up. Now, you're thinking that you want to move to the country. I want you to think about these two things before you do. First of all, you're going to need to live outside of the city, because most of the area inside what's basically the beltway of Richmond, they don't have very big yards, in that you're probably going to struggle to find maybe more than an acre inside the 288 turn 295 kind of corridor that kind of goes around the city. If you're looking at a map, you're going to have to go outside that. And when you go outside that, the issue is high-speed internet. And I wish someone would have told me this when I moved here, because when I did, I just assumed in 2017 that everyone had high-speed internet, or at least the option to get it hooked up. Well, it's 2023 when I'm making this video. I still don't have it. Yeah, I know, shocking. The internet superstar doesn't have internet at her house. I have internet, but it's not high speed. It's not the kind that's cable internet. You're going to have possibly a Starlink option. You may have to have a satellite option. You may have to get DirecTV, which is, again, satellite TV, basically. I want you to know that if you work from home and you have to have high-speed options, you're going to have to live in a little further or do a lot of research based on what's available where you actually live. And that wasn't something that was told to me when I moved here. Do I hold a grudge? No, I should have known better. I was a real estate agent still at that time. But I don't want that to happen to you. I want you to have the kind of internet that you currently enjoy, but know that we are different from other places in the world, that it's still not built out. Are they working at it? Yes. I was told about a week ago that I should have high-speed options at my house within the 60 to 90 days. Hallelujah! It's going to be a big day at my house. But I want you to know before you purchase a house that you're going to want to look at that, and you're going to also want to look at trash service. I don't have trash service at my house. What does that mean? That's a con. I didn't even know that was a thing here. Well, you have to take your trash to the recycling and the trash place that's off-site. You are the person that's responsible to take it, unless, of course, you find a private company that'll do it for you. Richmond is a lovely place to live, but these are some of the things I wish someone would have told me before I got here so I could be better prepared and make different decisions possibly. I want to help you make the move to Richmond or out of Richmond good for you. So if you have questions, please let me know. Feel free to contact me or write a comment below. Let's get the conversation going. Did I forget anything? Did I need to add anything to this list? If so, put it below. If you think I'm crazy and these things don't matter, go ahead and tell me. I love reading the comments. And also remember, every Friday I launch a new video. So like, subscribe, ring the bell, and I'll see you on the next video.